Hey guys, Gatsu here, bringing you another original English light novel review. This video I am reviewing A.R. Dragonfly, written by Joshua Piedra. First thing I want to do is say thank you very much to Joshua for sending me this copy to review on the channel. So a little bit about this first. It's about a gamer called Amber Ryan. That's her on the cover. She has terrible social anxiety, can't speak to anyone in person, just freezes up and whatever. But when she's playing this game, Blaze Auras, which is an original game for the series, she kind of comes out of her shell and becomes almost a completely different person, aka Dragonfly, which is her name on the game. So before I go into the story itself and what I didn't like about the story ever, I want to take time to talk about the book itself, the physical book, because I like doing that in my reviews. It's something that I care about as a collector. So I'm going to be completely honest. When I first saw the artwork, when I saw it digitally online, I wasn't too fond of it. I did think it was... I don't know what it was about it. It felt a bit kind of simple and more cartoony than anime styled. But when looking at it in person, I actually much prefer it. I think it looks a lot better. When you see the whole cover come together, it is actually quite nice looking. So I was quite surprised at that when I got the copy and I saw it, and I thought, oh, this actually looks quite nice. I do like the spine. It's quite basic. This novel itself is relatively thin at about 180 pages, which is, I think, quite thin for a light novel. But I can tell, like, once you have more volumes than that, I think it will look really nice next to each other. And then the back is quite basic, as most backs tend to be. Obviously, you've got the blurb. This is a slight misprint. On my, I don't know if you can see, the picture looks kind of like pixelated. It's not supposed to look like that. And I did inform Joshua of this, and he did kind of put me at ease that it's not supposed to look like that. I thought it might have been a stylistic choice to be like, oh, look, it's in a video game, you know. But it's not. It's just a misprint. So obviously that's one of them Amazon things. But apart from that, it's really nice. I really like how it's laid out with the content. So there is quite a lot of art throughout. Some of it does reuse the same art. So obviously, there you've got the cover art, but that is the cover. You will see that piece of art again. I do really like the contents table, which is a weird thing to say now that I say it out loud. I just think it's laid out quite nicely. You've got the chapters and the chapter titles on there. And I will say, and this is something that I did want to talk about with this release, you've also got other stuff underneath the normal chapters. So you've got the bonus chapter, which actually explains some of the lore in Blaze Auras itself. So it's kind of like its own little story that's going to be... that it says in the book that it's going to be told throughout, like, one bonus chapter per volume, which I think is a really cool, nice little addition. It's also got a little fun facts section where Joshua has written, you know, fun facts pertaining to the book. Reference list, which I think was really cool as well. So where there's things referenced in the game, like, for example, there's a reference to Arrow in the Knee from Skyrim. As soon as I saw that, I knew what it was. But that's then explained for people who wouldn't know, you know. He's got this list of like, oh, well, this is a reference to this, da-da-da, which I think is a really nice little touch. And then you've also got character biographies and an afterword as well. You know, you get afterwards in a lot of, you know, light novels, manga, whatever. But I just think it's nice. It makes it feel like the author is like actually cares about this series and wanted to go that extra mile for the reader, and that is something that I do really appreciate. Before I even started reading, I saw that and I was like, yeah, that's I do really like that. You also have, at the beginning of the chapters, you have the chapter number along with some artwork. Obviously that's the one from the cover. Let me just quickly find a different one. It's not a good show because that's the one from the back. But you've got, here we go, got another one there. So there's art throughout. It's not just in the chapters as well. There is just artwork on pages. For example, there is one here that I've just gone past of Amber looking timid. So yeah, there is artwork throughout. It is generally kind of pictures of characters. There is this little bit of fan service there where you can see the booty. But yeah, so that's about the print copy. I do really like the print. It feels like a lot of work has gone and care has gone into it, which is something that I really appreciate as a reader and as a collector. Now, going into the story, I did have my gripes with this. So after reading the first chapter, I came to the conclusion that I hated Amber. So obviously I will explain this. So it kind of introduces you to her. She's quite lazy. You know, she's very stereotypical gamer. Gets up at, I think she says anything before 5 p.m. is early, which, as someone who does sleep in quite late, even 5 p.m. is a bit much. But yeah, so she gets up quite late. She only ever eats pizza that's delivered and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. She has, I don't know if you can see on the cover, one half green and pink hair and one half neon blue and yellow hair, which obviously I knew before I read it. But it's just one of those things that is a bit of a... I mean, it's addressed in the series, so what I'm trying to say is it's a bit of a contradiction. Because she doesn't like social interaction or whatever, she tries to hide from everyone, but then has this bright, crazy hair. It is addressed in this volume, even. Her boss says something to her, which we will get onto. But I did think that was a bit strange that, you know, she's got this, like, this hair that really stands out, and yet, obviously, she's trying to hide it. But yeah, so it starts off, she's kind of playing the game, and you see her, she's, like, showing off, and oh, take this, you pleb. And then you get to her monologue to herself, when she's talking to herself, and she's... and I was made aware of this before going in, by the author, but the dialogue from her to herself is very cringy, and I think it's kind of intentional. Like it's kind of what the kind of bravado she'd like to have almost. She makes up some weird words that she says to each other. She says stuff like pleb a lot. Oh, you plebs, and I think the main reason that I didn't like her is because she seems like the kind of person that thinks everyone else is, you know, that she's better than everyone else, and yet she also kind of hates herself at the same time, which is like a dumb contradiction. I know there are people out there that are like that. I just, obviously, as a personality, that's not something that's very nice. The thing with this is that it gives her a lot of space to develop. And that was the one thing that I was hopeful for going into this. So the first chapter is just all set up. So Amber herself, she works at a kind of just all-round nerd store called Things and Stuff. And here we introduce another reason why I didn't like Amber. So she works a night shift, basically stocking stuff up and cleaning up and whatever. Her boss is a guy named Sebastian, who was my favourite character in this. He's quite a confident, funny, kind of outgoing guy. And he hired her, basically, it's explained in this volume, but he basically hired her because he felt a bit sorry for her, and then turns out that she ended up becoming like his only friend. She speaks to Sebastian normally. So that's when I saw that, and I was like, okay, this isn't as bad now. You know, the way she speaks to Sebastian, her interactions with Sebastian, I was like, okay, this is actually good. I'm actually enjoying this. And then gets to what she actually does at her job. And she basically just takes the piss out of Sebastian. So she's supposed to work, I believe it's 6 till 12, and then she can lock up and go home. She clocks in, Sebastian leaves. She then closes the store at 7 because she doesn't want to speak to anyone. And just sits there on her whole shift and plays on her Nintendo 3DS until Sebastian comes back at 7 AM and then goes home. And doesn't clock out. Just tries to rinse him for every single penny. And it is kind of revealed that she feels bad for it towards the end, but like she still does it. That's the thing. Like it's just not painting her as a very nice person. Obviously, she has her issues, but even so, you don't really take the piss, especially someone who's supposed to be like your only friend. But their interactions do improve as it goes on. So she, at the end of the second chapter, she goes back onto Blaze Auras. She is. I have yet to mention this actually. This is terrible that I've forgotten this. She's the #1 player in Blaze Auras, and this is kind of the only thing she has going for her. And she's just won this tournament called Legacy of Champions, I believe it's called. So she's #1 ranked player in the world. It's a ranked PvP game. And the second chapter ends with her getting beaten by someone called Kane. Now, I'm not going to lie, when she got beaten, I was quite happy. Because it was kind of like her being knocked off her high horse and kind of almost getting what she deserved, which I know feels kind of sounds quite bad, but I just thought obviously this is good because it's gonna knock some sense into her and kind of get her to move in the right direction, and it does. Essentially, what happens after that is she keeps getting absolutely destroyed by this guy Kane, and it really hits her hard. And I want to mention the action scenes in which that take place in the game are really well done. I really think that's where Joshua kind of hits his stride, if that's the right term. I think it seems like he really cares about the game inside the story, and he puts a lot of work into fleshing this out. In later volumes, this led me to she starts strategizing on how she's going to beat Kane, you know, what am I going to use, and I kind of found myself strategizing with her because the game is so fleshed out and so well explained. I kind of felt like I knew the rules and I knew what, you know, oh, she could use this ability and which is like really impressive, especially in the first volume, and the first volume being as short as it is, to kind of flesh this out enough that people, or myself anyway, can kind of feel like we understand the game and can almost help with it, which is crazy. And I think that's really well done. I definitely think that's one of the merits of this book. But yeah, it does move a bit slower than you might expect from a light novel. There is a lot of day-to-day tasks. In chapter 4, she has a crisis because she's got no peanut butter left or something. She has to go to the 24-hour shop. And at this point, I was starting to come around to her a bit, sympathise with her a bit more. And then there's this interaction in the shop where she gets excited because she finds Pocky. She likes Pocky. So she grabs a bunch. She's giggling to herself. And then the cashier looks at her. And she doesn't like that. She freaks out again, puts her hood over her head. Doesn't want anyone to see her. And then when she gets back, she starts kind of talking to herself about, oh, stupid cashier. Oh, he thinks I'm an idiot. Well, I'm better than him. And that was straight away just like, ugh, I hate her again. So we move on, and basically when she loses her rank to Kane as the #1 player, she breaks down. She's crying because she's lost the only thing that she has going for her. And she actually goes to her job and actually does some work for once. And so much so that she ends up passing out. And she wakes up in the hospital. Sebastian's taken her there. And they kind of have this conversation where he psychs her up and kind of tells her she needs to practice and improve to beat him. Which is good, because then that leads to some development for her. You actually get something out of Amber that isn't either false bravado or just kind of patheticness almost. And it is a big step to her actually becoming a likeable character. And so I believe that's chapter 6, and chapter 6 ends. She's home, she's ready to practice, and then she gets a phone call from Sebastian, and he's like, "Come down to the store right now." And this never happens. He never calls her without texting her first or anything like that. So she goes down there, and basically you find out that Sebastian, the reason he's got all this money that he can use to open this shop and to just give away to Amber or whatever is because his dad gave him the money. His dad's a big businessman. And his dad essentially said, if you don't start making profit from this place, I'm shutting it down. You need to fire her, this, that, and the other. And they come up with this idea that the new Legacy of Champions tournament is coming up. Dragonfly, the ex-champion, is going to come back, sponsored by this store, and win it all. And then people will be swarming into this store. And this is kind of where you see a big change in Amber, where she goes from this like timid, shy girl to this confident. No, she doesn't completely change, obviously, but she has this almost argument with Sebastian and kind of throws his own words back at him, where she basically says, "Oh, you told me not to give up, and now you're giving up." And so it's quite an exciting end that is clearly leading to something quite cool that's going to happen in the next one, where she has to go back to this tournament, win this tournament, and beat Kane, who she so far has not been able to beat. And I'm quite excited for that, especially because, as I said, the fight scenes in the game are the best part of this book, I believe. So by the end of it, I came round a bit more to Amber. I don't hate her anymore. I do dislike her. But I do want to see where this goes. So I ended up giving this a 3 on Goodreads out of 5. If it was out of 10, I would have given it a 7 by the end. But I felt like it was closer to a 3 than a 4 for me personally. I also think it might not have necessarily been my thing. But I think the fact that it had a bit of a slow start and the fact that Amber starts off as such an unlikable character kind of put me off towards the beginning. But I am looking forward to see where it goes. It just kind of started low and kind of went up to the point where it's actually became quite enjoyable towards the end. I know that's not selling it too well. And I'm not trying to sell it. As I'm saying, I did enjoy it, but I didn't love it. It wasn't the best thing ever, but I do want to know what happens next. So I will leave the link to the Amazon page of A.R. Dragonfly Volume 1 in my description. I will also link Joshua's Twitter, so you can follow him as well for updates and everything. I know he also has more light novel series as well. A.R. Dragonfly is complete at 12 volumes. All 12 volumes are out now, so if you want to check it out, obviously go for it. The link will be in the description then. And again, I want to say a big thank you to Joshua for sending me this copy. But if you like the video, like it, subscribe if you're new, comment if you've read this. If you've got any other things that you'd like me to review, let me know in the description, in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.